Okay, today I'm super happy to show you a use case, a chatbot with an AI agent in order to help Oracle Data Integrator of 12c developer in their job. Okay, so when you are using Oracle Data Integrator, you need some information. And this information are very specific. It means if you use a standard LLM in order to help developer, then you will have a very bad result. So the intelligence of the system and the chatbot is only related to the intelligence you have and the intelligence you put in the tool that you give to the agent. At Oracle, this intelligence, for example, regarding Oracle Data Integrator, the knowledge, for example, is coming from my colleague, Stefan Brown. Thank you, Stefan, for giving me all the code. For example, this code that I use in a tool in order to get information from a knowledge module used by ODI. Okay, so before showing you the discussion with the chatbot, you need to know I implemented this solution using Langgraph. Langgraph, it's a nice framework in order to build something like we can call a workflow of agent. You build the graph, a tree, and you create node, and a node can be related to an LLM or to a tool function in Python, for example, and so on. And you design the workflow, and you can use a lot of ready-to-use component coming from LangChain, a super nice framework. A lot of components are ready. And you will see, in fact, during my POC, I just use 2 components coming from LangChain. And in order to monitor that, you can use LangSmith. So this demo, you are Langgraph, LangChain, LangSmith. Remember, I could have implemented this demo with another framework. You can have a look to another video I am doing. And I did video with CrewEye and so on. And I will do other video with AutoGen and so on. So the solution that you use is related to what solution I am mastering and what solution is nice to develop this use case. Okay. So the monitoring, but I want to show you the code. Very simple. I did first here a Python tool in order to query, to execute a specific query. This specific query coming from the expert, ODI expert, allow me to get all the SQL lines in an ODI knowledge module. Okay. But in order to run this query, I use the tool, ready-to-use tool for executing SQL coming from LangChain. Then I use another, and I created another Py file in order to create a tool in order to do natural SQL language. Okay. This tool was given to Langgraph. Okay. So you see the chatbot running here. Want to show you the code. Okay, just show you the code. And here, as you see, from LangChain.agent import tool, okay, I take my first Py file, run workflow in order to run my specific SQL, and another file in order to do SQL natural language, okay? Then you create the tool, you give the description, you give your class here and the method to call in this class, okay, in this file, Python, okay. And then you see the first tool is specific with a hard-coded SQL query, only used to get information for a knowledge module. And the second tool is generic, use natural language, SQL. And then the second tool will generate itself a SQL request regarding to your discussion in the chat. Okay. Okay, you give these two tools. You can test the two tools here. Okay. You see, I'm using a Python notebook because it's very simple to do experimentation. Remember, when you are designing an OI workflow solution, you need to do test. Okay. Then I did a test for the language natural SQL tool. Okay, nice. And after that, I created a tab of the tools and I give that to an LLM. Here, OpenAI. Okay, the two tools. After that, I designed another graph. Okay, so the first tool is a Langgraph, is a graph using the SQL specific tool plus a tool that is taking the result and transform that in a nice markdown tab. Okay. The second tool is just in fact very simple. I use the natural SQL tool from LangChain. Okay. And after that, I build another graph. Okay. So in order to implement the chatbot. And in fact, with Langgraph, the first node, okay, is a chatbot. Okay. So just to show you the graph in order, because it's not so simple. Okay. For the tool doing the query, this is the graph. Execute SQL format with Markdown. Okay. And now looking at the second graph with a chatbot. Okay. Oh, the first node is a chatbot. And then he used tools. Okay. So very nice framework in order to develop workflow like that. You can have a look to the result. For example, give me information on knowledge module ECAM SQL load. Okay. And you can see at start, I am an intelligent assistant designed to help Oracle data integrator development. Okay. And database, Oracle database queries. I use tools, one for KM details, knowledge module detail, and one for natural language SQL. On the first question, LLM decided to use the first tool, and I get the result. Okay, the different line of the LLM. After that, I have a discussion. Is there a pattern create table in the result? Yes, on this line you have a pattern. Okay, what table is created? Oh, then you can see that the name of the table is this one, but the problem is that you cannot know now what will be the real table created because this is related to the context execution of ODI. Super nice. Okay, thank you. Now, give me the list of all columns of the tables SNP project with description. So this is the table SNP project. This is one table in the metadata repository of ODI. At start, you need to know you don't have any description in this metamodel. And this is the intelligence of people working on this kind of use case, because you know what? Our expert on ODI got the description of the metamodel on Oracle support. Then he did a script in order to pass the documentation and in order to create the comments on the table in the metamodel and in order to create the comments on the columns of each table. Okay. And without this intelligence, this request will be not very nice. Having just, PAV version number 19, or maybe I don't know what it is. And now I can read the description. Okay. And the tool is quite intelligent and can use the description and the comments on the table and columns in order to be able to better translate natural language in SQL order. Okay. So as you see, super nice. I have two tools that could be used by an ODI 12c developer. Now imagine I want to add another tool. What can be this called? Okay. this tool. For example, okay, you can add a tool number 3. Okay, I uploaded all the documentation in PDF version on a bucket on OCI. Okay, and then I created an OCI agent with a RAG tool. Okay, and this RAG tool is using the bucket with all the documentation of ODI. I ask a question, give me information on each business suite adapter, and what you can see is that, okay, I got an answer coming from the official documentation uploaded in my RAG, because if I ask this question directly to a LLM, probably I will have an hallucination and a very bad answer. And now you can see that the information is coming from this file. Oh, nice. So this is really true. I can be confident in this answer. So I can integrate that as a new tool in my development. Okay. What else? For example, I am a beginner with SQL and I don't know how to optimize. SQL request. I can create a very simple tool with a plan table. Okay, and this tool will be able to say to the developer, your SQL order is not very good because you do a full scan on the biggest table in this query, perhaps you need to put another table first, or perhaps you did a query but you have not an index on this field, and so on and so on. So as you see, we can improve here this chatbot helper developer, adding tool and tool and tool, but the tool are coming from the intelligence that you have. Remember that, okay? What else? So Langgraph, super nice to design a workflow of agent with a lot of things and a lot of components in LangChain ready. And you have LangSmith, oh no? Oh, well, very nice. Okay, I have a monitoring of what happens directly here. And what you see, oh, it's very simple. I can see all the details. I can see when I'm using the tool natural language SQL, oh, it's more long. And why? You know, it's very simple. I ask a question about, give me the description of the table and of the comment. And in fact, what you need to know is that this natural SQL component has generated something like that. You cannot find the information directly. If you did a desk table SNP project, you just get all the information regarding the column, but no description. So you have to create a SQL order like that to get the comment on the table, and a SQL like that in order to have the comment on the field. And that's why when you are looking here, it's more long, okay? So it's normal and it's okay. And it's very nice to have a look to the monitoring in order to be able to debug and to see the behavior of this Langgraph workflow. Okay. So as you see, very nice solution. You use Langgraph in order to design the workflow, but you can use two OCI agent with the RAG tool. And remember the last thing, this code running here, you know, I will have the need to deploy this code. And how to deploy this code, you know? The answer is very simple. Generally, you need to containerize this development and you need to deploy it somewhere. And there is a very nice solution. In order to deploy this code, you can use Oracle infrastructure to deploy this solution as a container image, Docker container image, running on a VM, running on container instance, running on Oracle Kubernetes engine, or running with a function. Mainly, if you have a use case with an event and I need to run my workflow agent, function. Whoa, very simple. OCI function are super nice. Okay, that's all. You can look at other video regarding other framework because on each video I am using a new framework. Thank you for your attention.